AITA for ditching guy at music festival? I, 33F, was dating a guy, 32M, for about 6 weeks. At certain points tumultuous during that time. I had planned to go to a music festival with my friends in Napa independently. The day before, he said he got a last-minute ticket with some friends and asked if he could stay with me. I said okay. The day of the concert we were in touch, and I was excited for him to meet my friends. I told him where we were camped out at the festival so he could join, but he stuck with him friends and never met up with us. Fast forward 67 hours. Still has not tried to find us. During the very last performer, it was dark and cold at this point. He finally texts that he wants to meet up. At this point some of my friends had already left. They had given up on meeting this guy and the rest of us were getting ready to leave. I texted back saying to just stick with his friends. I was pissed at this point and felt like he had no interest in actually hanging out and solely using me for a place to crash. I didn't want to even see him at this point, let alone spend the night together. He immediately responds saying he needs a place to stay and he can't stay with his friends, and that he was confused. The concert is a bit over an hour drive from where we live. So worst case scenario it's an Uber back. TLDR. Ditched a guy at music festival after he ignored me all day, leaving him with his friends without a ride back 1 hour away from home. AITA? NTA. He wanted to use you for a place to crash and that's it. Info. Was he ever aware of the plan to meet your friends? Or was this just wishful thinking on your part? NTA. He was just trying to use you for a free ride, free accommodations, and maybe a little, if he had good intentions and was a good person, he would have tried meeting up with you over the course of several hours. Someone who is over 30 should be able to do better. Red flags here. Run. People in their early 30s going to a music festival and fighting LMFAOOO. This belongs on the teenagers sub. NTA. After reading your comments, yes, there should have been more communication, and honestly both of you are too old for this level of just wanna crash with you instead of hang out with you. All that said, if it's a 6-week-old relationship, you owe him the exact same courtesy he gave you, which is absolutely nothing. Dump the leech and move on. Going against the grain and saying NTA, I would expect someone I'm dating to actually spend time with me at the same festival we're attending, especially if we're going to stay with each other for the night. It's rude to just blow off your significant other and use them for housing. I can't tell if he was dragging ass when you wanted leave or if this was just you being petty at feeling ditched. Otherwise maybe I can understand maybe the two of you weren't very clear and had different ideas of what the plans were. But if he was taking too long to get to you and you had to leave, then NTA. If you just left BC, you were mad YTA. I'm going to be unpopular and go with a soft YTA. Nowhere in your post did you indicate he got a last-minute ticket so he could hang out with you and your friends at the festival. He said he got a last-minute ticket with a group of his friends. He asked if he could stay at your place after the festival and you said yes. He went to the festival with his friends. You went with yours. He must have assumed you'd be meeting up at the end of it so that he could go back to your place, which you agreed ahead of time he could do. Then you bail on him because he didn't bother to come look for you in a crowd of 50,000 people that day. No wonder he was confused. Automod, thanks for posting. This comment is a copy of your post so readers can see the original text if your post is edited or removed. This comment is not accusing you of copying anything. Read this before contacting the mod team. I, 33F, was dating a guy 32m. For about 6 weeks. At certain points tumultuous during that time. I had planned to go to a music festival with my friends in Napa independently. The day before, he said he got a last-minute ticket with some friends and asked if he could stay with me. I said okay. The day of the concert we were in touch. And I was excited for him to meet my friends. I told him where we were camped out at the festival so he could join, but he stuck with him friends. And never met up with us. Fast forward 67 hours. Still has not tried to find us. During the very last performer. It was dark and cold at this point. He finally texts that he wants to meet up. At this point some of my friends had already left. They had given up on meeting this guy and the rest of us were getting ready to leave. I texted back saying to just stick with his friends. I was pissed at this point and felt like he had no interest in actually hanging out and solely using me for a place to crash. He immediately responds saying he needs a place to stay and he can't stay with his friends. And that he was confused. The concert is a bit over an hour drive from where we live. So worst case scenario it's an Uber back. TLDR. Ditched a guy at music festival after he ignored me all day. Leaving him with his friends without a ride back 1 hour away from home. AITA? I am a bot. And this action was performed automatically. Please contact the moderators of this subreddit if you have any questions or concerns. NTA. Don't move heaven and earth for someone who can't be bothered to cross the street for you. If he was with his pals all day, let them take him home. I mean, seriously. Why could he not go home the same way he got there? It's not like Scotty beamed him up to the music festival. Let whoever brought him there bring him back. I'm glad he's an ex. NTA. I'm so tired of people on Reddit preaching communication when I'm sure they don't know how to do that in real life. He could have met up with you at some point instead of directly at the end. This is his fault. Soft YTA. If you didn't tell him your expectations. People have different views of what's appropriate. Overbearing. Too much. Etc. You should have said something before committing. I'll be with my friends all day. But it would be great if we could hang out and for you to meet them. When do you think would be a good time for us to merge groups a bit? Haha. YTA. He asked for a place to stay. Not to go to the music festival with you. He had his own plans with his own friends. As did you. There shouldn't have been any conflict here. You expecting him to ditch his friends is totally hypocritical because you yourself weren't excited to meet his friends or trying to find them. You're not the main character. This is not how relationships or reality work. Wild that you are getting YTA votes. Redditors with their playground ethic. But, you said he could stay with you and then you told him to stay with his friends. You broke your promise, folks. These are two grown adults who are at the beginning of a relationship. Op explained to him where they were and told him he could join up with them. If the guy was a decent person at all, he would have prefaced everything with the fact that he would be staying with his friends and meeting up with her later, or he would have spent time with her during the concert. Instead, he acted 10 years younger than he is and decided to barely communicate. So no, NTA. And I hope this relationship doesn't move forward. YTA. It seems like his original request, which you agreed to, was for him to stay overnight. I'm unsure why you decided that if he didn't join you for the concert you would renege on that agreement. He didn't change his story. Did he? He didn't say he planned to meet up earlier. Or planned to meet your friends. It was not fair for you to back out on what you'd agreed to based on his behavior. NTA. You didn't ditch him. He ditched you. He never made an effort to meet with you or your friends. He partied with his all day and expected to use your accommodations. Why couldn't he crash with one of his boys? You can't ditch a guy you never met up with. This guy sounds shady. Block him and move on. NTA. NTA. You didn't let him use you. The only thing he's confused about is why his little ploy didn't get him a free place to camp. Without even doing any of the setup work. He's probably done some version of this to other women. Consider yourself lucky you saw this quality in him sooner rather than later. It seems like YTA. Did you ever express to him that you'd like for him to meet your friends? It seems like it was clearly expressed that you would be spending the day with your friends and he would be spending the day with his. A simple, "Hey, let's meet up so you can meet my friends," would have done it. Instead, he's confused because he has no idea what he did wrong. Perhaps just speak up and don't assume. Info. Did he ask to stay with you? Or did he make it seem like he got the ticket just to see you? If he was saying he got the ticket just so he could meet your friends and extend your relationship, or even if you had asked what time he wanted to meet up and he said noon, but waited until the evening, 100% you're justified. If he just asked to stay with you, it sounds to me like he had a last-minute ticket, but because it was last minute he needed a place to crash.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Haircast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.